All right. So we talked about the Hawks. We got uh, the Braves going for playoffs. Talking about playoffs. One of the teams, Atlanta United. They have 3 games left in the regular season. Hunt for that 1 seed so we can get a bye. That'd be nice that we play New York City FC. Depending on how that game goes, basically determines where we're going to fall. And we got a little bit of an uphill battle considering now that we lost Josef Martinez for the immediate future. At least for the next game, probably game after that, game after that.
Sounds like
So
we're back to the playoffs at least.
yeah, so it's that's not good. But great thing is Atlanta United is probably one of the more talented teams all around at every position in the MLS.
Good show.
So, and Frank DeBoer has instilled this defensive style, so now they should be able to at least play good defense. And so you think, okay, they're still going to
Who do
be
you think
Atlanta
he fills
United.
in with? Who do you think he fills in there? Because he's got a couple options. I mean, he could go Vasquez, who has had some moments where he's looked really good, and then he's had moments where you want a little bit more um, urgency, I guess, out of my striker is a good way to put it, right?
The, and
Like Joseph, he wants to score every time he touches that ball. Even if that means he's looking 3 plays ahead to do it. He's always trying to score or make sure somebody's scoring. So you got Vasquez, you could come in with Villalba is another option to potentially slide in there and replace Martinez with. He's kind of been a nice reserve play for us. Bring him off the bench in the last half hour of the game and try and get some fresh legs and really attack. Since he's come back from injury, though, he hasn't quite been the same guy. So what do you think? Who do you think they should swap in?
well, the reason why I think he likes to go with Vasquez because earlier in the season Joseph missed some time and he played Vasquez and I get it because he plays good defense. He's a defender because he's bigger. He helps out when you get crosses into the box with headers. But his offensive style is one thing I just have to remind myself is that he is young still and he's still developing. He's still getting a feel for the game. He's never really been a professional and played consistently. So it's like, okay, there's going to be problems there. There's going to be things that arise. There's some adversity, some challenges. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him just kind of move everyone up. And yeah, like you said, play Villalba, but not in the striker role, more of like an amoebic type striker role where he's on the left still, where we like to bring him in from. So we can keep Merrim out there. And then you'll have Villalba if Barco comes back, which, he's supposed to be able to come back. So we'll see. If we can get Barco on the field, then he's kind of the immediate.
He's not playing the NYC game.
So he's not.
Nope.
So he should come back at least for the playoffs. So it's like at least now there is a spot opened to move some players. Pereira could be a guy that they might try to implement and instill. So maybe it just becomes Pity Martinez. He slides up. It'll be interesting. I think he would go Vasquez just on recent history, and he likes to get him out on the field recently too and play him. So that's probably the route. You'd go a little bit just for the defense and then see where you go from the game and maybe you need to put Villalba in or not.
Nothing against Vasquez. Not a hater of him at all. My thing is a striker doesn't just develop over time. It's an attitude, it's a style, it's a way you play, and I just don't think he has it. I think Villalba is a better play, personally. I think it would be good for him to get the minutes coming off injury and missing a good chunk of the year. It could be a bit of a silver lining is the fact that you actually get Villalba some real meaningful minutes and get him back into saying, I want you to be an attacker. I want you to be aggressive. I think at the end of the day, to Frank DeBoer's credit, he's had to adjust at different times of the year. We were down a lot of midfielders early in the season. So he was really trying to work with what he had, and he had to play a certain style based on what he had. People were mad about the possession and defense early in the year. I think as the years played out and the team's gotten healthier, it's really shown more and more that he did that based on the personnel on the field at the time than necessarily because that's what he thinks is best for the overall team. It was best for the overall team at the moment. At the same time, it kind of helped instill a little bit more of something that I always had a problem with Atlanta United before Frank DeBoer got here. We gave up possession at times too easy, I thought. I thought we would just get careless at times with the ball. And, depending on the game and the style and who you're going against and all that, there are times to be really aggressive. And then there are times to me that you have to sit back and kind of, pick your spots and be methodical about working the ball down and in, depending on the team and how they're playing it. So DeBoer's brought that to Atlanta United, tried to make them be a little bit more thoughtful with the ball. I mean, as the team's developed, he's kept that kind of aggressive style, though, and let players be aggressive. So I think adding Villalba allows you to keep the style more is putting in Vasquez to me. I think Vasquez slows the game and the attack down.
Oh, no, he definitely does.
For Petey quite as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there because Vasquez, he does slow it down offensively, mainly because he doesn't capitalize like Josef Martinez. He doesn't create his own shots like a lot of the other players, like even Gressel can do. He is a little bit different of a style. So I'm with you on that. I wish it'd be cool to implement, to try it out. Maybe we just try it out and we just see what we get. I think to your point of
me against NYC, I think that's the game you do it. I think you put Vasquez in that striker. I don't know if we beat them in New York. I don't see us beating them without Josef Martinez and Vasquez starting in his place. You put Villalba there, and now I'm interested. I think it's still hard to win. I think it's just hard for us to beat NYC right now, especially at home. The way they're playing, missing Josef Martinez, missing Barco. I think that's hard. That's gonna be a hard hill to overcome. I think Villalba gives you the ability, and I don't see the point in only playing Villalba 30 minutes when you're missing Barco and Martinez.
Right.
Villalba coming off the bench is because you have Petey Martinez, you have Barco, you have Josef Martinez, you have Julian Gressel. He really can't play off that side like Miram can. So, it was more out of a plethora is the reason you had Villalba coming off in the first place. Well, we don't have that plethora at this juncture in the season. So why not use that to your advantage and say, well, good, well, now we're going to play him 90 minutes if he can go, right, in a striker role.
I'll tell you what, though. The one thing that Villalba gives you over a lot of other guys is speed. He's got to be our fastest guy, or at least one of the fastest guys on the team. And you take away Josef Martinez, he's not out there. Barco's not out there. Those guys are very fast. And now, to your point, you put in Villalba, and now he can beat the defenders. He can beat that back line. He can get pressure deep where just from being just fast and putting the pressure on everybody. So I think it'd be kind of cool to go Villalba Pereira at the same time, have them speeding up the corners, and then putting it back in for Pity or whatever. But I don't know how we're going to play it. But from what Frank DeBoer is saying is the way that he's played, I wouldn't be surprised that he starts the game with Vasquez, and then like if we're down 1-0 or something, then he makes a sub. And I agree with those guys out. You got to sub. We need to sub in Villalba a little bit earlier. It's nice to have his fresh legs coming in. When the other team is tired. It's nice to have his leg. Now they got to defend him. I think that's why he comes in the second half more. But he's got to come in earlier now because it's just we need it. We're going to need the electricity.
He needs to start. I mean, I
would like to see that.
I'd rather pull, and if you're concerned about playing him the full amount, put him out there until you think you can't anymore, and then be prepared to put in Vasquez at that point, and see if you can't get on him early and get a goal, and see if you can't sneak a goal or two in and play, and then shift back to playing more of a defensive style.
True.
like I said, to that point, we've got players that we could always bring out there and sub to switch to a defensive play if that's what we want to do later in the game to try and hold on to a lead and, get out of New York with some points, right?
Yeah.
I think without Josef Martinez and without Barco, most United fans aren't going to want to hear this, but I think you accept a tie even walking out of there. Now, best case scenario is obviously if you win, because if you win, you got Montreal, you got New England, which are two winnable games coming up, even without Martinez, especially with Barco coming back. I think those become winnable games for you. And you now are putting the pressure on NYC, right? Because
to win.
They have to win out, or if they don't and you do, you take that seed. So
if we come away with a tie, I mean, we're down by 4 points, 58-54 points. If we come away with a tie, it'd be 59-55. If we win out, best case scenario, we get 61.
What's the worst that could happen? You put Villalba out there and you risk potentially losing something defensively, maybe, I guess. And, you end up blowing a game and you get beat 3-1 or 4-1. What to me is different to that than losing 1-0, but never really getting any good looks on goal, right? I'd rather see you go out and be aggressive personally. I think that this team and the style that these guys like to play with, especially when you get LGP, something that's kind of underrated about him is he has a good strike. I think Villalba, with the speed, to your point, and LGP's ability to kind of out of nowhere all of a sudden hit one of them deep strikes down and catch a runner coming down the field.
Yeah, exactly.
It adds the element of that aggressiveness that, I think our team likes to play with. And I don't think Villalba is going to be so more aggressive than Josef Martinez is. And with that, I don't think you're sacrificing anything that you've held up defensively. I think when you play Vasquez, I personally don't see what you're gaining offensively. I think you lose so much. That it might hurt a team like NYC. But then again, you may want to say we'll play defense and see if we can't, win a game 1-0 against them.
Hey, but one thing he could possibly do too is now that Josef will be out of the starting lineup, instead of putting in a striker, you kind of moving the offense around at the top, and then bring Pogba in and push Merrim up. So now Merrim becomes even more so of an offensive-minded player in a position where now you bring Pogba back and play straight defense on that back. We'll see. I don't know what he's going to do. It'll be interesting.
Well,
I'll be curious.
Guys, supposed to be a defensive player, but man, sometimes he frustrates you on defense. He seems to get, I guess, lost is the best way to put it. At times it seems. I've seen him lose, back corner and let guys get just free roam. And to your point, it'll be interesting to see how he ultimately decides to play it. Do you try to use Merrim more aggressively? I mean, Merrim could definitely score from the top of the box. He's got a underrated strike to him. I also think that, to your point, though, you could use Lorenowitz in a way as a defender who can also give you a bit of an attack out of the top of the box that, is a little bit underrated in a way. Like, he's got a good strike. If he gets a hole, he can definitely hit it.
And then you bring up Lorenowitz, but now here's our thing too, because we can't talk about Atlanta United without bringing up the fact that Parkurst is now going to retire at the end of the season. And so me and you both agree.
Minutes. Hashtag Parkurst, baby.
Free Parkurst. Give him some minutes. Where's he going to play? How can he play? Where are the minutes?
Put him as striker. Josef Martinez is out. Parkurst is striker.
I'm with you, dude. Just get him on the field. Like, all right, if we're out of it, I mean, obviously we're still playing for a position because Philadelphia is right behind us. We can't just.
I have a hard time believing Parkhurst has fallen off so much. Now he has looked slow this year.
He's got beat, and it was nice when he was on that left back and he could move up, and we were using him up the side of the field. But then teams started countering that by beating him because with the speed of their guys, because he's just not as fast, and he just kept getting beat. We had to take him off. I mean, it was just we had to move him. He couldn't play there anymore.
No, and he's been real respectful about it. It's cool because they talk about how he's still a captain for the team even though he's not been playing. I don't know if you saw it, but with the Campiones Cup. Lorinowitz tried to give it to Parkurst to hold up. And Parkurst, obviously said no, let Lorinowitz do it. But, you could
New
just
captain.
get to that point, right, that the team still has a lot of respect for Parkurst, which is
Mhm.
awesome. Like that point, I'd love to see him get some minutes. If you could find a matchup or something that, could make sense, it'd be nice to be able to get him out there and let him play a little bit before he kind of, hangs him up for good. He'll
At
always
least
love it in Atlanta.
absolutely. We'll always love him. And maybe if he doesn't play this game coming up, he doesn't play against Montreal. Hopefully we can get him in the last game. But he'll probably, if he's going to play, I'd probably say the Montreal game. I'm sorry, the New England game because it's at home. That's why, because he'll be the last game at home. Well, hopefully we win. That'd be nice if we won. That we were winning the game. You could sub him in at the end. It'd just be cool. We'll see what happens. I don't know if Frank de Boer is all sentimental and emotional like that. He's Dutch. I don't know if he cares. That seems more.
I'm German. I can speak a thing or two about us northeastern Western Europeans.
Well,
we're not very sentimental, man. It's too cold to be sentimental. You ever cried in the freezing daggum snow? You ever scrape a tear off your face, son? It's not fun. It's not fun. We got time for no sentimental stuff up here.